And hello, welcome everybody to the Unfiltered Sports Network. My name is Fernando, aka the Lone Star Halo. I am joined here by one of my childhood best friends, goes by Jerrell. That's his name. But most importantly, on YouTube, he goes by One Up Brain. Jerrell, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me. My first ever podcast, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I mean, you and I routinely talk sports, like on the phone, through text, or on a phone call. So I figured if there's three people who are going to listen to us talk about sports, then why not?
Hey, exactly. That's all we need. You only need one person. We already talked to
Yeah,
ourselves, so
exactly. So, how long for the listeners? I mean, obviously, I've known you for years, so I'm going to pretend like I've never met you before. How long have you followed Arizona sports teams?
since I was born, been born and raised in Arizona, except for the 10 years I lived in California, but born and raised Arizona, been following all, Diamondbacks, Suns, and ASU mostly for majority of my life. Oh, and the Cardinals as well. How can I forget? And not so much of the Coyotes, but I all right. I always still supported the Coyotes, just never really watched the games and stuff like that. And but yeah, like that's how it's been. Yeah. So yeah, ever since I was born, I'm almost 28. So 28, almost 28 years.
And your dad, same kind of thing, right? I mean, I know he's not from the valley, wasn't born there, but you guys were raised in the valley, so obviously he was there too. Did he adopt Arizona sports as his own as well?
Yeah, pretty much. I think now for his since he's like 51 now, he's just pretty much, just watches whenever games come on and stuff like that. But if my parents, my grandma, they always tell me, if my great grandfathers were still alive, now those guys were, they're just like me. They anything that's Arizona sports related, especially the Suns, they make sure they watched all those games, no matter wins or losses. And my great grandfather, my mother's side, he's from Oklahoma, but they moved to Arizona back in the 30s. And then once the Suns came to the NBA in 1968, he watched everything up until he passed away. So it's just been
And I also want to throw in the fact that not only do you like the major sports, NBA, baseball, NFL, but you also like some of the secondary sports in terms of Arizona. You like the Mercury, you
mhm.
like the Rattlers.
Yeah, yeah. I always try to make sure I support all the teams except for University of Arizona because nobody cares about them. Uh, but yeah, I always want to make sure that everything stays strong in the valley because like I said before to you in phone calls, this is a transplant state. So, we're getting people from the West Coast, from Midwest and all the other stuff to where they have like their sports teams have such a long history of everything and a lot of especially like Diamondbacks, Coyotes, they're basically still in their infancy stage of professional sports. And but like you said for like the secondary sports, I know SFL or was it MLS Phoenix Rising, I believe. I might be wrong. I just
No,
I
you're
still
right. You're
support
right.
the yes. They won the 2023 championship, so they're getting dubs. The Mercury, early in their career, early in the franchise history, they were able to win. Right now it's not the best, especially the last two seasons, but I'm excited for this upcoming season for them. I definitely want to go to some games, take my daughter with me, so she could be able to experience that with me.
Okay, so you'd mentioned a couple things that I kind of want to touch on and come back to. So the only kind of Arizona sports team that I primarily followed is the Arizona Coyotes. That has been my NHL teams since I fell in love with hockey in 2016. So the key thing I wanted to attach myself to and kind of spin off of that you said was Arizona is a transplant state. There's a lot of people who are going to agree with that sentiment. It's not a hot take. It's accurate. A lot of people go there for vacations or famously the snowbirds that you make fun of all the time, right? Like, oh,
Yep.
I don't want to live in Minnesota or Canada. I'm going to go down to Arizona for the winter. So, Jerrell teases him all the time, and rightfully so, right? I mean, the guy is, born and raised in Arizona. So, Arizona is used to gaining things. They're used to gaining expansion franchises. They're used to gaining relocation franchises. But Arizona isn't used to losing. They're not used to losing residents. They're not used to losing sports teams. So I know you haven't followed the Arizona Coyotes religiously, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have still identified with them because they do represent Arizona, and now that doesn't exist anymore. So now that they have left, and there's been other threats. The Diamondbacks have made relocation threats. Are they empty threats? Sure, but that doesn't change the fact that they've used that threat. What does it mean to you that Arizona is now starting to lose sports franchises?
It really sucks because yeah, like they were one of the Coyotes for the youngest NHL franchises, and for them to not want to uh fully invest into them, and like we said before in a phone call, them relocating to Glendale, it wasn't the smartest move in the beginning, but they did want him to sign the owner Alex to sign a 20-year lease, and he didn't want to do that. So like that makes no sense. He could have used that tactic to grow the game, expand to to more people, such as like the Hispanic community, which is very rampant in the Glendale area, because you got the State Farm Stadium where the Cardinals play, and then whenever there is some soccer games going on, every time I drive by there or in that area, it's packed with people. So, it's like people want to show up to sporting events. It's just like, a lot of Hispanics, they're not very, they don't really connect well with hockey, I would say. There's people, like yourself and others, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's very appealing to non-Caucasian audiences, but there's no reason for it to not, grow and expand and all that. Give it a try for that.
Yeah, and the Coyotes, I feel like, definitely tried to vibe with audiences that aren't historically hockey fans. You've already
Mhm.
mentioned Latinos. Now, the Arizona Coyotes had a half Cuban owner, Alex Morello. So he's Latino, and their CEO Xavier Gutierrez is Mexican, and I believe, if memory serves correctly, he was born in Mexico City. If not, he has ties there. So like his whole mission, he'd always said was to try to get the Arizona Coyotes to go and play a game or two a year, or even a preseason game in Mexico City because he felt like that was an untapped market. So with that
Mhm.
being said, like the Coyotes certainly tried. I mean, they used to do the Black Excellence nights, where they used to have those really cool jerseys that I sent you, and you were like, "Oh man, those are
Yeah.
sick." They used to do the Los Yotes nights, but like something tells me that like they could have done more. And at the end of the day, a team can always do more to try to embrace or try to get a specific market to embrace the team. For whatever reason, the Coyotes didn't never fully embrace those communities like they should have, and they could have used it to an advantage. Now you brought up Glendale. You've lived in Arizona for a long time. Yeah, you had a short stint living in California, but you've seen Phoenix, the metro area of Phoenix, when it was significantly smaller, 15, 20 years ago. So with that being said, Glendale has grown now. But when the Coyotes moved to Glendale, and I believe 2003, it was much smaller and much harder to get to. Nowadays, getting to Glendale is impossible because of traffic. True or false?
Oh, that's definitely true. And especially, if a game is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, it's hectic down there because you have the State Farm Stadium, you have there's an outlet mall and Westgate in that area. So, So traffic is hell on earth trying to get through there, and you know, like I said, not many people are there for hockey, and so you know, like when you told me a few years ago that they played in Glendale, because I haven't been following the Coyotes. I was confused because I was thinking, oh, they played in downtown, like they used to, which made a lot more sense because the Suns and Diamondbacks playing downtown. So like I was like, oh wow, Glendale, that's a weird area for them to be in. Um, so yeah, like it's pretty bad, and it was bad, especially if you weren't just trying to go to a game or something like that. Because there's so many things in that area, and like yeah, it just oh, and plus just normal regular season tickets for even random weekday games or weeknight games. They're 200, 300 plus for a ticket, and so it's like the average person like myself or even others, it's hard to justify paying that much just for a single hockey game,
When they
especially
moved to
for a
the
team.
mullet, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, to the Mullet Arena, and because that's the Arizona State Stadium, hockey stadium. It's pretty nice and everything, but it's like, all right, we gotta figure out what to do and how to branch off, and have your own identity. Because when the Arizona Cardinals, when they first relocated to Arizona, when they were called the Phoenix Cardinals, they played at Arizona State up until State Farm Stadium was built, but they still made it work for them. But but yeah, like hockey is just such a smaller community out in this state, but people still love it. But that doesn't give it a reason to not expand and try to grow, especially being one of the youngest teams.
So the city of Tempe had that vote roughly this time last year. It was May of 2023, and the citizens of Tempe unanimously voted no on it, on the privately funded stadium. And you and I have kind of talked about it. And we've seen privately funded stadiums presented. You and I were living in San Diego still when Soccer City by Landon Donovan was proposed, and people in San Diego voted no and said they wanted to use taxpayer money to build a college stadium for Arizona State, or sorry, for San Diego State. My apologies. So very similar thing in Tempe. It was going to be privately funded. That means that the owner of the Coyotes, Alex Morello, was going to pay for it completely. But the only thing they wanted the public to decide on is if A, they could buy the land, which is a toxic landfill. You live in Arizona. You can confirm that is a toxic landfill, correct? That is all it is.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, and to this day, it still hasn't been used for anything. It's still just using taxpayer money sitting there. But since you live in Arizona, let me ask you this. So let's assume that that land would have people voted yes, and the Coyotes would have taken over that land. Would that have been a good area for a arena to be built?
Yes, absolutely. Because it's Tempe already. There's a lot of college students in that area. Arizona State already has a hockey team, so even for my job myself, doing pest control, the homes I go to, there's Coyote fans, especially in the Tempe area. Even old retired college hockey players. So it's like that market in Tempe would have been perfect, and and especially with like a lot of kids coming from out of state that go to ASU, they could be able to go to hockey games whether they're Coyote fans or not. There you will still generate revenue from ticket sales of people going, and people from Scottsdale, they don't have to travel all the way to Glendale to watch a game. So like it's kind of like the perfect medium for that area, and I still don't understand why the citizens of Tempe didn't want that to happen. It's like, dang, they say they want things to expand, but they're just trying to keep everything away, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, from an outside perspective, I've only been to Tempe a handful of times. Obviously, I'm an Angels fan, so spring training for the Angels is right there. not too far from Mullet Arena, actually. It's basically just the other side of the freeway there, the other side of the 10.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean that plot of land is ideal for something. I think Tempe in that area would have been a perfect spot for arena. I mean the airport's right there. Downtown Phoenix is what? I mean, with no traffic, 15 minutes away from there.
Yeah. Hmm.
Obviously, with traffic, it's probably more like 30, 40 minutes. But doesn't change the fact that that's like prime location. So you're an Arizona sports fan in general. Does the Valley embrace all of their sports teams? And if there's certain ones they don't embrace, what do you think is missing for them to embrace specific teams?
I think I think for the people, especially that were born and raised here that embrace Arizona sports, they embrace them all. I don't think there is any, I don't think there's no Arizona team that, the Arizona sports fans, that they don't like. Like, yeah, colleges, people from ASU, they don't like University of Arizona, vice versa.
But
And
that's a
Northern
rivalry.
Arizona,
I think that's different.
right. But, all in all, even when I remember when I lived in Tucson itself, there were still, Cardinal fans, Coyote fans, Diamondbacks fans, just besides the, college rivalries, the pro sports is they are being supported. And, like the people I meet all throughout my lifetime that like hockey and that like Arizona sports, they are Coyotes fans. And like we spoke on the phone few or yesterday, we are that second generation because the team is only what was it since 1990
Six.
19 yeah 1996, the year I was born, so it's not like I could just get up and go buy season tickets holder uh
You didn't come
when I
fresh
was
out the
born.
cooter and buy season tickets? What's wrong with you?
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, like we're the perfect age to where we could be able to buy tickets. Most of us our age have children already, that could be able to take them to games and stuff like that. And build be the actual generation to where it's like, all right, we don't have to, you know like how like most people are that live out of state, to where it's like, do I want to support them or do I want to support the team where I came from? So it's like it's
Yeah.
it's it's finally like that time to where it's like, all right, we can build that fan base, and let's just keep on growing that fan base instead of trying to, you know, uh appease out of state people, versus the citizens here already.
Yeah, and that's kind of the tough place that we're at. And I think like that's one of the things that like insults me as a Coyotes fan the most is the fact that the organization is 27 years old, was 27 years old. And like you said, people our age are at the point now where they have their own dollars. And I don't mean like, most of us started working at, 16, 18, somewhere in that range where like, oh, you'll pick up a shift here and there at McDonald's. But like people our age are now legitimately at the point where they have legitimate money. You know what I mean? Like you have money to pay your bills and now you actually have extra money. Like, hey, I want to take my daughter to a D-backs game, and you're at the age where like your daughter wants a shirt or something, you can be like, yeah, whatever, we'll buy it. You know what I mean? You're not having to maybe budget as hard as you did when you first had your daughter a couple of years ago. Um, and that's not an insult to you. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's just you're getting to the age now where you have some throwaway cash, and that's what like our generation is now getting to. So with that being said, you have a whole generation of fans who were raised Coyotes fans because their parents were a fan of the New York Rangers or whatever, Detroit Red Wings. They moved to Arizona with their young families, their young children, and while their parents were cheering for the Rangers, the Red Wings, whatever, you were cheering for the Coyotes, and now you had kids of your own. Now you wanted to take your kids to the game. So now there's an actual like generation of fans that grew up cheering for the team. And now they're trying to get the seeds planted for that second generation. And then they're like, ha, psych. We're taking
Yep.
this team and moving them to Utah. So it's definitely a spin in the face, especially because relocation isn't something that happens very often in sports. It's a term that people use all the time. I mean, in our lifetime, let's really quick try to think. How many teams have we seen relocate?
Let's
We've
see.
seen
So
the Nationals were the first one that
the
I could think of
Nationals.
in our lifetime.
Yeah, there's nationals. I know. Oh, OKC, the Thunder.
Yep, yep,
They
yep.
relocated
The
from Seattle.
Supersonics. The Atlanta Thrashers in hockey
Yeah,
moved,
the
became the
Thrashers.
Winnipeg Jets in our lifetime. Of course, the Coyotes. That happened when you were born. That happened when I was 2. Um, and then obviously, besides, we're not going to talk about the Coyotes right now. Obviously, they're going to Utah, so that's that's an obvious one. I feel like we're missing a couple.
There's uh dang, I just had it in my head. It's so I said
Oh, the Chargers,
yeah,
the Raiders.
Chargers. Yeah, yeah, my favorite football team, the Raiders, moved from Oakland to Las Vegas. And oh
That was
hell,
too obvious. That was too obvious stuff for you to think about because
I
I mean,
I know.
it's
So
automatic.
soon to be the Athletic,
Yep,
they're
yep,
about to
yep. The Athletics
relocate.
going to Las Vegas.
So it's like, yeah, like you said, out of all the sports organizations, relocation's pretty rare, and
Absolutely.
expansion's pretty rare because you got the Seattle Kraken and the Las Vegas Knights,
Yep.
but they've done expansion for hockey, the right way, to where, hey, let's put into it. Let's give the city that we're expanding to value for them to be there, and
Yep.
not just they understand that it's like, hey, if we want to grow our fan base and keep that fan base, we have to invest hard into it now, set up a good 5-year plan to where, hey, let's build something versus starting
Relocating
off
something.
and yeah, relocating and then just be like, oh, this isn't working out, not understanding where you are, and and understanding like the economics of everything is like, hey,
Yep.
not most people have $500 or thousands of dollars for some season tickets
Of
to
course.
a team that they believe
That
doesn't
they don't
bring much
identify
value.
with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, expansion is something that's also just as rare. I mean, you've already mentioned like a couple of hockey teams that we've seen expand in our lifetime. The NFL hasn't really expanded much in our lifetime. I mean, what, the Jaguars and the Texans? Am I missing anything in
Yeah,
our
pretty
lifetime?
much. Yeah, Jaguars,
Baseball,
Texas.
in baseball in our lifetime, it's been the Diamondbacks and it's been the Rays. That's really it. We've seen
Yep.
no other expansion since the turn of the millennium because I think those were both what, 98.
Yeah, 1998. Yep.
So, and I do think baseball is going to expand in our lifetime.
Oh yeah.
I
Yes,
think
it's yes.
Nashville's a team that everyone's saying like, oh yeah, Nashville's going to come, and then Salt Lake, Portland, and Las
Yep.
Vegas were 3 teams that we were hearing. Oh, they're going to get a team soon. Obviously, Las Vegas is most likely going to be covered here. I know, like they haven't exactly put shovels in the ground yet, and that's when the stadium starts going vertical. That's when I'll really believe that they're going to relocate. I still think they're going to
Mhm.
get stuck in Sacramento, honestly. Um, yeah, God, that would just be the Oakland Athletics. Could you imagine leaving Oakland to go play in a minor league facility, and then
In
all of a sudden
Sacramento.
they don't end up building the stadium in Las Vegas? Now you're kind of stuck in Sacramento because Oakland's not going to take you back. That'd be the most
Right.
athletic thing ever. And that's another thing that pisses me off as an Arizona Coyotes fan. So Mullet Arena, you've been there. I don't know if you want to tell the audience the event you were there for, but
Oh man, we were there. I was there. Was in January for a Paw Patrol live show.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Was the mosh pit as crazy as I thought it was going to be?
It was it was crazy.
Kids
I liked
losing
it
their
too.
shit over the putt putt boogie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, here's the mosh pit. You got your daughter in there, just like pushing kids around. Anyway, so God, I forgot where I was going with that. Lost my train of
Oh,
thought.
you are you just saying like how what was it how like it's pretty rare for expansions, and like I think your train of thought was going to like where it's at, like location wise, and you can't just really just put especially like the valley basically,
Uh,
you know like there's definitely sections to where like, oh, you got to understand your fan base, the demographic, and if you're gonna choose, like we said earlier, if you're gonna choose to put a hockey team at Glendale, you gotta understand majority of the people that live there, and like the like and how they're going to receive hockey and stuff like that.
So, so since you're bringing all that up, let's talk about this. So, do you think that hockey does have the ability to work in a state like Arizona?
Oh yeah, it does, because it works in a state like Florida, because a lot of people are saying,
Sure.
oh, it's not, it doesn't snow out here, there's no frozen lakes, there's not that many like hockey clubs out here, but it's like, hey, that doesn't matter, but you just got to try, and especially if you're a billionaire owner, like what do you have to lose? Oh, you're gonna lose millions, but you're still a billionaire at the end of the day.
So, where they want to build the Coyotes' new arena in the North 101 there, the corner of Phoenix and Scottsdale, almost where those intersect. Do you think that area could work? Because the talk is still that Alex Morello is going to buy that 110 acres, build an arena there, build an entertainment complex. I think I showed you guys in the group chat the photos, and you said it looked great. Do you think that would be a good location for an arena? And do you think it could work there?
I think so because what is it? There's where the Diamondbacks they play spring training talking stick.
Yep.
That's like in that area. So people they'll travel there, and like I said, yeah, it's not that it wouldn't be that far for the people of Phoenix, Tempe, Scottsdale. Obviously, it could definitely work. And if they and if they did it right, built a nice parking lot, especially for like the amount of people that would be able to travel. Because for some odd reason, they don't a lot of areas, not even just Arizona, but a lot of states included, they don't plan to have good parking lots and all that.
So I've seen a lot of people say things like, "Oh, like in the photos, it looks like they're building the arena in the middle of nowhere." All right, you know that area very well. Is that area really in the middle of nowhere? There's a
No,
lot of
because
houses and stuff around there, right? It's a
yeah,
very
there's
populated area.
there's houses, there's shopping centers, the casino, Talking Steak, Top
Yep,
Golf. Uh, yeah, like there's a lot of things to do in that area. And
yep. People think it's
oh,
the
where
sticks, you know.
right, yeah, that the Phoenix Open is in that Scottsdale area.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
it's true. I forgot about that.
it's like people will go there, and they make it very enticing. That's a win-win in my opinion.
And even if it was in the middle of nowhere, I mean, Arizona is moving so quickly and growing so quickly that really there is no more middle of nowhere. I mean, I remember even
Hmm.
going to my very first spring training game in like 2016. Like there wasn't that much around certain areas, even back then.
Yeah.
Hell, the NASCAR track used to be in the middle of nowhere. What is that in Goodyear?
Yep.
Buckeye used to be considered the middle of nowhere. Now Buckeye is considered part of, the Phoenix metro area because now it's built out. Same with
Oh yeah.
Surprise. Surprise was
Hmm.
the middle of nowhere. Hell, even like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah. Like even when I moved back in 2018, I thought Surprise was far, but I'm like I live here now, and I'm like it's a good area. There's I live like 5 minutes down from the Royals spring training facility. There's spring training facilities everywhere out here. So I
Absolutely.
was like so it's like I think personally it's more lazy from Alex Morello to not to just not want to go hard for the Coyotes. You know, it's like put it behind him and just be good to the citizens. Really,
Yeah.
give the people what they want.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you listen to any of that press conference at all, but like if you want to hear a billionaire who's completely disconnected, listen to that Alex Morella press conference. The guy is not media trained. It is very clear. There's some owners who are great at talking on the mic. And like there's two different kinds of billionaires, right? There's the billionaires who are very good at like talking to people. I don't want to use the term manipulating people, but kind of pitching their own narrative because they've gotten
Hmm.
so good at it. Because to be a millionaire, you have to be a good businessman or woman. There's no way around it, right? You
Yep.
don't become a billionaire accidentally. I mean, sure, maybe you can fall into it from like your parents. So obviously, there is a man or woman somewhere down your family tree that was very good with money and very good with people. Maybe it was you, maybe it wasn't. Alex Morello is one of those billionaires who I'm like, how the fuck did he get here? This guy,
Yeah.
this guy has the charisma of a wet sock. This guy looks so dumb that he couldn't get himself out of a wet paper bag. It looks like he just kind of surrounded himself with the right people. And yeah, I mean, you and I previously worked for someone else, and I won't say his name out of respect for people, for him. But the guy made pretty good money. I had every indication that he was a good businessman. Some shady practices, sure. I mean, you and I would say that. But he was a good salesman. And man, oh man, that guy knew how to wrap people around his finger. That guy could sell water to a fish. He could sell paint to a paint store. He could sell stripes to a raccoon. You know what I mean? You can use whatever term you want. That guy was like the epitome of a snake oil salesman. And I don't get that from Alex Morello. Like I heard him talk during that press conference, and I'm like, how do you get anybody to listen to you?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, like be able to have that much money, millionaire, billionaire, you got to at least have some type of charisma to you,
Absolutely.
whether you're loved or hate, even a lot of people's like, well, hey, we hate this person, but at least they know how to, get other people to get behind them.
Exactly.
At least fake. At least have somebody.
Fake it till you make it, right?
Fake it till you make it. For him, it's because I only watched a little bit of his of the interview, and it was just like, what are you doing, bro?
It was painful.
Yeah, it was painful. It was like, I'm like, man, you should have sold the team if you weren't ready for this backlash.
Yeah, and they're being like super naive about the sell of the team. It's like, like he's acting like he's like the savior to like Arizona, and hey guys, I'm gonna bring hockey back. It's like, well, guess what, buddy? You wouldn't have to bring hockey back if you didn't let it leave in the first place. That's like, I use the analogy, like that's like going to a party, right? And there's this cute girl, and like she's trashed, and you're like, I'm gonna bring her back to my place, and you take advantage of her. And I'm not condoning that. Never, ever, ever do that. Don't take advantage of any man or woman. This is purely an example. If you do that, you're a bad person. So you take her back to your house. You take advantage of her. And then the next day, you're like, hey, you're lucky that I got you. I'm going to take you home now. And she's like, wow, you're so nice.
Right.
And you're like, hey, no problem. I hope I see you around next time. And you act like you're her savior. That doesn't change the fact that you're a bad person. You took advantage of her. Maybe that's a drastic example, but it's like to that magnitude. You have these people who spent their hard-earned money, and even worse, time, because you can't get time back. You're going to get your money back one way or the other. We all get money back, maybe some faster than others, but money's a renewable resource. Time is not. The time and energy that fans invest into an organization can't come back, and neither can that energy exerted. And that's what's tough. Okay, like you're wearing a Phoenix Suns jersey, so there you go, repping the Suns. They're you said it's game 1 today, right? The playoffs.
Yep. Game 1 versus the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Call your shot. How many games?
Ooh, I believe Suns in 6.
Suns in 6. It don't matter. Suns in 6.
I have a bad feeling that they might lose today, because they always start off the playoffs, slow.
With the L's, it's okay.
And
it's
plus,
not how you start; it's how you finish, my guy.
Exactly, and plus, they're at Minnesota, so it looks like Minnesota's going to give them a tough time in the beginning. But yeah, Suns in 6.
Is Brawadis going to be there?
Probably.
The most famous Suns fan. I should say infamous Suns fan, really.
Right.
Okay. So since we're on the topic of the Suns, they have an arena that they just remodeled, right? Or they're going to.
They didn't remodel it. They just changed the name to the Footprint 2 years ago, but yeah, like it's I love going to the Suns games, and like in that area, if you walk like another half a mile or around the block, the Diamondback Stadium's right there. So
Yeah.
it's close by. There's nice restaurants. Parking is, hell, but whatever. But they
You
make
know, I've been to one
they give
Phoenix
it
Suns
value.
game, and I didn't think the parking was that bad. I was
Yeah,
there
yeah,
when
like
they played this. God, they were playing the Thunder back when Carmelo Anthony was a member of the Thunder.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Russ Westbrook was 1 assist shy of a triple double. This was triple double, Russ.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. Those are definitely the dark days. Phoenix
For the
basketball.
Suns, yeah. Hey, in
Yep,
all
yep.
fairness, that was back in the day when, like, I'm not going to say Devin Booker was a nobody because he was in the All Star game already, and that was the year he won the 3-point contest. But Booker still really hadn't made a name for himself just yet.
Yeah,
You know,
just because we're playing with JV players that didn't want to play. He was the
that's
only one putting it down for the team, and then now he finally has a team. Now the owners finally put pieces around him, and look at them. They made it to the playoffs for 3 straight seasons. It's been a while since that's ever happened, and now it's up to them to perform. Give it to the players to let it decide versus ownership saying, "Oh, we don't want to invest into the team," and then
yeah.
we're gonna have losing seasons and we're gonna lose fans because of that, and threat relocation because of it.
Yeah, the Suns' previous owner was horrible. It was commonly believed that he was the worst owner in Arizona sports until Alex Morello came along and let the Coyotes leave. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, you found a way to top him.
Yep. Oh man, Robert Saber, that guy was talk about horrible.
He was
He,
racist,
I
right?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that what it was?
racist.
Like
He was
Donald Sterling.
racist, sexist. There was a lot of reports, from
Oh, man. What a guy, huh?
from women staff members that felt uncomfortable. There was
Yeah.
reports
Where's my
when
hug?
DeAndre Ayton when he was on the Suns saying I forgot what he said to him that he didn't like. He didn't want to re-sign Joe Johnson back in the early 2000s. They could have ran it back with that team, but it's just like you don't. He didn't care. He just wanted the money. He did not care about Phoenix basketball at all.
Are you talking about the 7 seconds or less Suns?
Yep, 7 seconds or less when they had Mike D'Antoni as the coach, Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, and
With
Joe
that shot.
Johnson. Exactly. Quentin Richardson on the bench coming off. So I was like, we had the squad for that, but they just didn't care.
So we were talking about the Suns and their arena situation. So speculation, like I said, is that Alex Morello on June 27th is still going to try to win the land auction there on the Loop 101. So since it's technically in Phoenix, do you think that the Suns are going to have opposition to the Coyotes and maybe, I don't want to say throw a fit, but perhaps give the Coyotes a hard time about building an arena there? Just because the simple fact of if you're going to build an entertainment district there that, maybe has better parking, has better facilities, that maybe concerts are going to start going there instead of the Footprint Center. You think the Suns are going to be like, whoa, 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 no, 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 we don't want that over there.
No, not at all. Because it's like, hey, if more people are able to go to the Coyotes games, be able to have options, throughout the year of what they want to do, I think that's a good thing because there's plenty of other states and cities that are able to do so, with all the four major sports included their secondary sports. So like I think it's like hey, I don't think it's competition at all. I think it's more of a benefit for the
For
whole
both
city.
parties? Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right, so let's real quick talk Diamondbacks. So Chase Field has been needing a couple of repairs for a couple of years now, and the city of Arizona. I mean, they also kind of have a cheap owner. Luckily, he started to open up the purse strings a little bit, and the Diamondbacks look like they're going to have a good team for a couple of years here. So, with that being said, Chase Field does need some repairs. Literally directly over the pitcher's mound, there's a gap in the roof. So if it's raining, it literally leaks right on the pitcher's mound, which is hilarious because I believe right before the official season started during spring training. They did a couple games at Chase Field, and one of them got rained out, and everyone was laughing because they're like, leaving
Yeah.
Arizona to have a rain
Yeah.
out in a retractable roof. So, with that being said, the owner of the Diamondbacks, bless his heart, has not wanted to pay for the renovations. He wants, what is it, Maricopa County? Is that what the county's called? To pay
Yep.
for it. So now that the Coyotes have relocated, do you think that the Phoenix area is going to start taking things like that more serious? Like the Diamondbacks are like, fine, we're going to leave if you guys don't pay for our stadium renovation. Do you think the city is going to be more inclined now to give them that money?
I would hope so because like being a transplant state, a lot of fans they could they could not care less if if Dimebacks leave, Suns leave, anything like that because they got their own team to support.
Well,
So
no,
so
you know
it's
what?
like,
Real quick, let me cut you off there for a second because I don't think
oh
that's
yeah,
true either. Because you got to remember those snowbirds like seeing their teams play,
you're
and it's
right, you're
cheaper to
right.
watch. Most of those teams play in Arizona than vice versa.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I would say I wouldn't say they wouldn't care less. It just wouldn't be what is it? I
They're
would
not
say
gonna
yeah,
cry over it.
yeah, they wouldn't cry over it, and it's just I just think they wouldn't be as incentivized, to want to pay for all that just because they're like, well, I just live here, so all in all, they still have a team to support that they from their hometowns or something like that. But it's like that's a difficult call in my opinion. So that's all really.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a couple of true or false Arizona sports questions, and you can elaborate a little bit on them if you want. All right, the Phoenix Suns are going to make it to at least the second round of the playoffs. True or false?
True.
The Arizona Diamondbacks will make the playoffs in 2024.
Oh, true.
Corbin Carroll will win an MVP award in the next 5 years.
Mm, true. I would say so.
The Arizona Diamondbacks will win the NL West this year. Keep in mind, they have to deal with the Padres and the Dodgers.
Honestly, if they play like how they played last night versus the Giants when they went 17-1, if they play like that,
I
no,
didn't check the
no, no,
score. I didn't know they cream pied them.
they, I would have said they gotta score 10 plus points, but if their bats were swinging, it was they were connecting. Blake Snell was throwing meatballs.
Yeah.
and our pitcher Montgomery, he was going crazy. So as long as we keep the bullpen in, because that's what keeps us in the game, or that's
Yeah.
what keeps us out of games, is the bullpen. We're able to hit, we're able to get on base. It's just the bullpen that's very very shaky. But I say true to your question.
Okay. Speaking of Diamondbacks, are you going to go to any games anytime soon? Any good giveaways?
I haven't checked the giveaway list, but I am trying to go to. I'm trying to go to a game next month.
Okay.
Try to go to
Maybe there's a
there.
Corbin Carroll bobblehead or something you could scoop up.
I know. Man, I'm so upset because the last game I went to was August 26th versus the Cardinals, and they had Corbin Carroll bobbleheads, but for some odd reason they ran out when I got there. So
Oh,
I was
yeah,
sick.
I'd be pissed. Yeah, Corbin Carroll's really good. I really like that guy.
Me
Um,
too.
the Kyle Murray will be the quarterback in 3 years for the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh yes. Oh yes,
True. Okay.
because
Okay.
it's true. Because hey, Kyler Murray, ever since Kurt Warner and Carlson Palmer, he's been holding it down for the quarterback position in Arizona. And when he plays, he plays phenomenal. People always like to talk about video games and him studying, but when he's on the field, he knows how to ball. He beat playoff teams like the Cowboys, Pittsburgh. They beat the Eagles last year, especially with nobody else on the field. So it's like give him pieces, and he will do great for the Cardinals.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Do I have any others? NHL hockey will return to Arizona.
I say false.
Okay, you don't think it'll ever come back?
I want it to come back, but like the way this breakup has ended, especially the last 2 weeks, I don't think the fans are going to appreciate them because like we spoke, why bring it back in 5 years when you could save them now? So that's to me that might turn a lot of people away.
I think it's going to depend on what happens. So the land auction's on the 27th of June, right? So Alex Murillo wins the land auction. He, in 30 days, he closes the land by, putting the money down. Okay, great. So he now officially owns the land. So the clock starts. He has 5 years to build a state-of-the-art facility, and he's allowed to reactivate the team within 5 years. But the biggest issue that he's going to face is, so let's just say all that happens, there's no issues, and in the next 5 years, the Arizona Coyotes get an expansion franchise, and they're now reactivated, okay? Why are people going to want to support him again when he cost the team the first time? And he didn't do himself any favors on that press conference.
Nope,
did himself zero favors. There is so PHNX Coyotes is a podcast I've been following religiously for a couple years, and their beat writer Craig Morgan. One of the things that he said was that perhaps Alex Murillo just needed to be honest. For instance, there's a lot of us who aren't going to feel bad for a billionaire, right? But the fact of the matter is this: Alex Murillo was losing a lot of money owning the Arizona Coyotes every year. Why? Because when they were in Glendale, they weren't getting a lot of support in terms of tickets. Like Jerrell said, it's hard to get there. And I've been to the, what was it called back then? Gila River Arena, roughly 10 times. Now it's, what is it, jobbing.com arena or something?
Yep.
Yeah, so I went to Gila River Arena 10 times. And most of the times I was staying near Peoria, and that's a 10-minute drive, right? So you don't really have to deal too much with traffic. But the times I was staying in Phoenix, I used to stay in Phoenix, close to where you used to live, near, what is that, Ball Road or whatever? Bell Road?
Yeah, Bell Road. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it took an hour and a half to get to the arena, and I had to take side streets to get there. So yeah. I know that's a hard area to get to in the Valley during rush hour. So they should have never moved to Glendale in the first place. Okay, and then they moved to Tempe, and they sold out every single one of their games. And everyone's going to be like, well, it was a 4,600 seat arena. It was 5,000, but, for the NHL, because of press or whatever, it's about 4,600. Okay, but everyone's saying they don't have fans, and they were continuously selling out. Do they care who's buying the tickets? No, they just want the tickets sold out. You're an Oakland Raiders fan. They went to Las Vegas. They don't have as many Raiders fans in Las Vegas as they had in Oakland. Because Oakland, they were selling out most of those games too. And those were Oakland Raiders fans.
Yep.
Here in Las Vegas, they're selling out every game too. But the difference is this. It's 40% Raiders fans? Because most of them are visiting fans. Does Mark Davis care? No, he doesn't give a crap.
Nope.
Money's green. Yeah. He doesn't care.
Exactly. And they even I had a chance to see the new Raiders stadium, and and I was able to drive around there, go in the parking lot, try to go to the team shop, but for some odd reason it was closed, and it was during the season, and so it's I would say it's more I'll say 65% Raider fans, from the TV from the TV at least when I watch the games.
But still nothing like Oakland Raider fans, where
right.
It was 80%.
Yeah, and it just doesn't have that Raider feel, but we're still getting used to it,
Of course.
And yeah, like you said, Mark Davis doesn't care, he's like, well, money is money.
Exactly. So, so Alex Murillo was losing money in Glendale. He bought the team in 2019. Then obviously COVID hit, so he lost money there because, who did it? And then he moved the team to Tempe, and he said the revenue was better. And, they were getting a lot of season ticket sales and all that. Their season ticket sales were still up, at least the revenue from it, because the tickets were more expensive. So with all that being said, he was adamant that, hey, I know that hockey works in the desert. I want to bring the team back. But the fact of the matter is this. If he would have gone in front of the media and said, hey, here's what happened. I had to let the team go. The arena, they just said they didn't want to play there that long. I got threatened to get sued by the Players Association, and that's true. He did. So why wasn't he just honest? Just say, hey, you know what, guys? I understand you guys are going to feel bad for me. I'm a billionaire. I was losing money hand over fist. And the fact that I was willing to lose money shows you guys how passionate I am about this team. I didn't want to lose this team. Gary Bettman put me under a gag order, and I wasn't able to say anything till now. I'm standing in front of you today to tell you guys I'm heartbroken too. This is a big loss for me, both financially and emotionally. But we're going to do this right the next time. This team will be back, and this is never, ever, ever going to happen to you guys again. For the next 5 years, I'm going to do everything I can for the community. We're going to support youth hockey here. We're going to continue to keep the Coyotes brand alive and well. We're going to continue to hold events for our former season ticket holders so they come back when this new arena is built. That's how you handle the situation. If you say that, you're gonna get people to be like, you know what? All right, this guy's an asshole. This guy's a dick. He cost us our team. He broke our heart. But at least he's here now. He explained why he couldn't say anything, and he said he's gonna do things better. And for the next 2-3 years, if you're true to your word, you continue to host these events. And you know what? You can even host watch parties for the Utah team. And you can say, hey, you know what? This isn't our team anymore, but those are still our players. We're gonna support those players until, and you guys are going to come out. You're still going to wear your Coyotes gear for this watch party. Hell, host the watch party on that strip of land you just bought. Dedicate like 2 or 3 of those acres, lay a bunch of concrete, put up some tents. You can put up your little inflatable coyote thing there. You can still have those like little inflatable jumpers for the kids like you've been doing. You can still do that kind of stuff on this plot of land. Have watch parties for the Utah hockey team, and just have that that preset, because your fans are going to understand. Hey, I understand that's not our team anymore, but Clayton Keller was drafted as a Coyote. He's going to be playing in Utah, but he's still a Coyote. Yep. So you can still embrace those players, have those watch parties while people are here in this plot of dirt, having these watch parties. And guess what? 100 feet away, people can see the arena being built. People can see the steel beams coming up, and you're doing that for 2, 3, 4 years. All of a sudden, the arena's built, and hey guys, in 4 months, our team's coming back. And you still have that community. If anything, your community's stronger now.
Yeah,
because the owner was there watching those games with you guys. He doesn't even have to be at every event. Hell, come to one a year. You can still have your cheerleaders there. You can still have, as long as that brand is still alive, people are going to embrace that. And that's how you keep the community alive. Alex Morello missed his opportunity. He was slurring his words like a drunk dude trying to tell the cop he wasn't drunk.
Right.
Sorry, officer. I'm drunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Only watching a little bit of the videos, like, dang, you could tell when somebody's not being 100% truthful, and he didn't have confidence in his voice, and he could have just been honest, straight up honest. We would rather hear honesty than just excuses, because you're a billionaire. Wham. Just be honest with us. Tell us the situation. You don't have to go 100% full in depth with it, but at least be very transparent with us, at least.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, I think a lot of us can live with, hey, you know what? I was losing a lot of money in this arena. It's not fair to the players having played in a college arena for more years than we expected. There was no other choice. And he did say that he fought very hard to keep the rights and the logo for the next 5 years so he can reactivate the team. And that part was fine. I had no issue with that. But, when he was sitting there saying, hey, my words are sincere, it's like, it doesn't sound sincere. It sounds robotic. So, I wanted to bring Jerrell on so we can talk about sports in the Valley and vouch that the Valley does love their sports. But I want you to be honest here. Yes or no? Arizona is a very fickle market, and they are very fair weather. I'm not talking about you. There's definitely diehards. But overall, is Arizona a very fair weather sports market?
Yes, and
Okay.
I would say yes, but not in a sense of because they want to. You
Yeah,
know, it's
no, it's the
yeah,
same thing that in California, because in California, we lived in San Diego, which is close to Los Angeles. You know what? If the Chargers suck, if the Dodgers suck, if the Padres suck, the Angels, whatever, who cares? We'll just go to Disneyland. We'll go to the beach. We'll go to do
hmm
this, and that. Arizona has a lot of stuff to do. If the Suns suck, the Diamondbacks suck, who cares? There's something else to do. But what happens when you live in, like, I don't know, Minnesota, and it's
yeah,
cold? During the winter, if your hockey team sucks and you don't want to spend your hard-earned dollars watching the team, what are you going to do? Well, we got nothing else to do. Go to the
right,
Mall of America?
yeah, like that's it.
Exactly. In Arizona, if the Suns suck, if the Diamondbacks suck, whatever the team is, like, you can go to the mall, you can go hiking, you can go bowling, you can go golfing, you can go to a NASCAR race, you can go to a golfing tournament. You name it, it exists in that market year round.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. It's like that's yeah, because like I said, it's not because a lot of people want to be fair weather. It's like, all right, we're not trying to put in more to something that a billionaire could be able to put in,
Exactly.
and, places what the seventh most populated city in the country. So
Yep.
it's growing crazy year by year. So it's
Yep.
like, all right, we got to figure out something to where hey, let's do something for the actual Arizona fans. And I think that's what Alex Moreno he didn't understand. I think that's what Robert Saver didn't understand. Uh I forgot the name of the Diamondbacks owner, but I think he's starting to understand that now since they went to the World Series again last year, and I believe Arizona baseball is
Ken
getting back
Kendrick.
to Ken Kendrick, and I believe that Arizona baseball is getting back to where it was because they won the World Series in 2001. That's 3 years after they became their expansion team.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, like it's possible. It's definitely possible. Just just put in the value to the teams. That's all we ask for.
He's only worth $1.1 billion, and I don't mean that as a slight. I mean, that's more money than you and I will ever see in our lives. But I mean, that would make him one of the poorer Major League Baseball owners. And once
Yeah,
again, we're using the term poor very, very loosely.
right.
We're not talking about this guy having $12 having to survive off a Little Caesars pizza. But compared to some of the other owners, maybe there's a little bit of an excuse there, just a little bit. Like Alex Morello, yeah, I think he's worth like what $4 billion now.
Jeez. We're 4 billion with nothing to show for it. That's sad.
He's 60 years old. He looks a lot worse than that.
See, that's what happens when you're a snake.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm trying to see what his current net worth is now. It says here $2 billion, but that was on January 18th, and he just sold the Coyotes for $1 billion. So I mean, and
Wow.
dude, it's so crazy. So like the only thing he sold for $1 billion was the players, and like
Damn.
the front office, he gets to keep the logo, he gets to keep the history, he gets to keep the trademark for at least 5 years, and he also gets to keep the minor league team in Tucson, the Roadrunners. That's crazy.
Right.
Does that mean that he could sell the minor league team in 5 years if he doesn't bring the Coyotes back and then make another? I mean, you're not going to make nearly as much, but another what $500 million? Jesus,
Right. And just to sell the team.
it's crazy,
So it's,
absolutely crazy.
it sucks because let's say if he does sell the Roadrunners in Tucson, there's no there's only what the Tucson Sugar Skulls of the Indoor Football League, and then the Roadrunners. The rest
Do
is
they play
just
at the convention center also? Of
I don't know where they play. I think they do since arena football is it's smaller than NFL,
course.
so I believe so, and so it's like there's not that much. There's no like major sports team in Tucson. So it's like, all right, you're gonna take one of the one of the professional sports out of there. So it's like, all right, what are you trying to do here?
Oh, you didn't hear? So right now, the speculation is that next year, Alex Morello is going to relocate the Tucson Roadrunners to Phoenix. That's
Oh, okay.
and they're going to play at the Mullet. That's what they're saying right now. So the Mullet is now going to host. ASU hockey. They're going to host like wrestling, like those kind of events, gymnastics.
Hmm.
They're also going to host the G League team for the Suns.
Oh yeah.
And they're
Yep.
now probably going to host the Roadrunners. And right now, the speculation is that they're going to rename the Roadrunners to the Arizona Coyotes, which, let me just say this. If that happens, that's the stupidest thing you could possibly do. You can't lose your NHL team, move the minor league AHL team to the same arena, name them the Arizona Coyotes, and then what's going to happen in 5 years if all this works out and they reactivate the NHL Coyotes? You're going to move them back to Tucson, make them the Roadrunners, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, we got the Coyotes back. What about people who don't religiously follow hockey? They're going to be like, wait, what do you mean? Because in 5 years, they're going to be like, hey, we're back. We got a new arena. Because like when you remember when the Rams moved to LA, were you still living in San Diego?
Yeah, because they moved back in 2017, I believe.
Yeah,
When they
okay,
moved,
yeah.
when they went back to or 2016, 2017 when they moved back to LA.
Yeah, and they were the billboards were even in San Diego. Like they were putting the billboards in all of Southern California.
Hmm.
It was like old team, same house or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they were like
Yep.
trying to be like, hey, we used to play here in Los Angeles. So, they wanted like those fans who were there, 20, 30 years ago when the Rams were there the first time to come back, and they wanted to inspire the new generation. So they were like, hey, we've been here before. It's really not a relocation. We're just coming back home. So how can the Arizona Coyotes do that if they technically never left to casuals? Because there's
Right.
some people who don't know. Dude, there's a handful of people who don't know that Arizona Coyotes even exist, who live in Phoenix. That should not be the case. If I'm going up to
Exactly.
people in Dallas, if I go to 100 random people in Dallas and like 20 of them don't know the Coyotes exist, who cares? They don't play in Arizona. Maybe they don't follow, or they don't live in Arizona, sorry. Maybe they don't follow hockey. I mean, there's some people in Dallas who probably don't know that the Stars exist. Well, I live in Fort Worth, about, like 45 minutes away. So there's definitely some people here who probably don't know that the Stars exist. So with that being said, in your city that you physically play in, people should at least know you exist. Maybe they can't name a player, but I guarantee you, if you go up to 100 people in Arizona, 95 of them know the Diamondbacks. 98 of them probably know the Suns.
Hmm.
You go up to 100 people, a year ago, and you're like, who are the Arizona Coyotes? How many of them do you think honestly know who they are?
Yeah. I would say like a good probably 70%.
I would have said 60 to 70.
Yeah,
But that number
around that.
needs to be like 80 to 90. Like I said, there's going
Right.
to be those people who can't name a single player. Okay, who cares? That's
Yeah.
fine.
Whatever.
But
Yeah.
honestly, those are the people you want to appeal to. Like the
Hmm.
Diamondbacks. I guarantee you, out of that, like, we said out of 195 of them know who the Diamondbacks are. I guarantee you, out of that 95 people who know who the Diamondbacks are, how many of them could probably name like 10 players?
Yeah. I would
40 of
say
them?
yeah. That at least one player. Corbin Carroll. They could at
Yeah,
least
exactly.
name. At the least because billboards.
Yeah,
If you go close to downtown,
it's just like Mike
you'll at
Trout with the
least know.
Angels. You know what I mean? Everyone who knows the Angels, I mean, most people who know baseball know Mike Trout. You don't really have to know baseball. Just like Shohei Ohtani. Those are generational guys. Devin Booker in basketball, LeBron James. These
Yep.
are guys who like the general audience knows. But,
Hmm.
what about your secondary guys? How many people know Zach Gallen? How many people know Merrill Kelly? Like, those are the guys who you should really try to pump if you're the organization, because you don't really need to pump out Corbin Carroll, because word of mouth works for those kind of guys. Because you go to Dick's
Yep.
Sporting Goods to get your kid who's playing soccer some new cleats. They're going to see Corbin Carroll jerseys. They might not know who that is, but they know the name eventually. They see the billboards, they hear the commercials. Hey, come out Saturday. The Arizona Diamondbacks are going to give out rally thongs. Watch Corbin Carroll take on the Tampa Bay Rays. You know what I mean? So like people like are going to absorb that. So you're going to get your casuals out there anyway to get that, that yarmulke for the first 20,000 fans, to get whatever that weird promotion item is. But yeah. Jerrell, anything you want to say out as we're closing out? Anything you want to plug? Any last second thoughts?
Well, my last second thoughts are let's go Suns. Suns in 6. We believe in that. Oh, don't listen to don't listen to anything. Just stay positive, everybody, except for you, Alex Morello. You deserve some
Yeah.
horrible nights of sleep.
I hope that $1 billion makes you miserable, you son of a gun.
Right, because it just makes no sense. It's like, all right, you're gonna, like we said, at least with St. Louis when they relocated to from LA, they kept the Rams, and then they didn't bring another LA team in the middle of that times frame and change their name, bring the Rams back, and then have the Rams of St. Louis, still be the St. Louis Rams. They kept it, so it's like, Alex Murillo, please have a good plan, of if everything works well, and have a plan if nothing works well. So with that, and then my final statement is, people of Arizona that love the Arizona teams, keep on supporting, support the Mercury, support the Rattlers, Suns, Diamondbacks, Arizona State, even the other colleges, support that, because it is one of those towns, or one of those states and cities to where, yeah, it is going to get overran by out of state people. And that's always been always see in the comments of Facebook of all those things, like, oh, this is a Dodger game, an away team game. I just wish that they just made tickets more affordable, so that the people that live here and care about the teams, they're able to go and overturn all the outside fans, like other states can. So, that's all I really want to say. I also appreciate you having me on.
Anytime.
Definitely good to talk Arizona sports. I love it. You do it all day, and yeah, appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, dude, we'll do it again. This is
Of
the
course.
Unfiltered Sports Network. We can talk any sports we want. So we'll bring you on after maybe the NBA playoffs, and you can tell me a little bit about the NBA playoffs. And you got to come on my Angels podcast and talk Diamondbacks when that series happens.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, because it's been, especially last night's game. Like I said, they pulled up a stinker on Thursday
Cream
night,
pie.
and then they didn't score at all. But then boom, yesterday, Saturday or Friday night, came back 17-1. So yeah, I'm definitely ready to talk some baseball.
You guys are really gonna like Montgomery, dude. That guy's nasty.
Oh my
Guys,
gosh, I
guys,
was like,
filthy. They're gonna have a really good rotation between Merrill Kelly, um,
Gallon.
Montgomery, and Gallen. Yeah, it's
Yep.
no Zach Davies.
Yeah. Get that terrorist out of here.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of all of us here at the Unfiltered Sports Network, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know Jerrell hasn't posted as much on his YouTube channel, but it's still up. So give him a follow there. One Up Brain. Yeah, let us know down below if you want us to talk about any specific sports category, especially if it's Arizona related. Let us know. We'll bring Jerrell back on. I'll force him back on. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hit the post notifications so you don't miss. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.